Yes, feel free to continue. Everyone loves a pre-show, and we are live.
I was just saying, oh no, the hosts have gotten distracted.
But
Oh no.
The host is me.
thank you everyone for coming. This is Reclaim Your Right to Rest with the wonderful Kelsey D. Crawford and Jay Pawlik. Kelsey Crawford is a comic artist, illustrator, and zinester based in Toledo, Ohio. They've been making comics since 2013 and running Fantasyville Productions LLC since 2018. They have drawn a lot of webcomics over the years, including the LGBTQ plus fantasy adventure, The Legend of Jamie Roberts. And when not making comics and zines, they play tabletop role playing games with friends. Jay Pollock is a non binary comic artist whose goal is to make unapologetically queer comics. They've been working in comics since 2013 as the artist for Topaz Comics, with two completed webcomics, Dead City and Gender Slices, under their belt. Their specialties are their detailed line art, auto-bio stories, and character expressions.
I didn't realize that we both started comics in 2013.
We did.
It was a good year.
It was a good year to start making comics.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Reclaim Your Right to Rest. We are going to be going over basically our methods on how to rest and relax when working in comics and freelance. Um, and
And also
Alexis already kind of introduced us, but oh,
and
sorry,
also
Kelsey.
the importance of why we need to rest.
Yes, exactly. So as Alexis has already introduced us, I forgot that that was a part of the thing, but I put our pictures in the slideshow anyway. But both of us are kind of advocates of making sure that people rest while working and not overworking.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the who. Uh, so I wanted to, we're going to talk about the why first. Um, Kelsey, if you, I'm just going to go in order of what we've written
Yeah.
uh, on our doc.
Yes.
Um, so,
Good call.
why is rest important? So back in 2022, I was in a midst of many projects at the same time that were due all at the same time, as they tend to be. I injured my wrist while taking on way too much work. And I was out of commission for quite a while. Uh, and I had to go to physiotherapy, and it actually ended up taking more time out of my work than if I had just rested and paced myself. So that's kind of the vibe that I want to give you all of, is it worth it to not rest and injure yourself and then be out of commission rather than resting, taking that time to take care of yourself? Uh, in the long run, resting is the better option. So when I rest, I'm ensuring I give my body time to recuperate so it doesn't give out on me one day. I'm in my mid 30s now, so
Hmm.
this is something that I do have to think about.
Hmm.
But I do want to preface it for folks who are younger as well, of making sure that you rest and you stretch.
Yes.
um, because if you get into bad habits in your 20s
Hmm.
and that follows you into your 30s, that's not good. That's
Hmm.
bad.
It is not good at
Uh,
all. Nope.
so I personally try and sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. I find that if I get less than 7 hours, it's really hard to function.
Yeah, for me, six is like the bare minimum. I would rather
Hmm.
have 7 to 8. Less than six, and I'm like, I am not a human being. No amount of tea or coffee is going to make me function like a human
Yep,
being. So
big
I,
agree.
yeah, yeah, big agree there. So like, gotta have my sleep. And for me, the importance of rest is like it's partly two things. One is that when I first started in a career in the arts, I was actually a caricature artist at a major amusement park and doing comics in my off time. But I found that doing that burnt me out on the art making side really badly because it was like constantly making art all the time and my brain was not getting a break. from producing art. And the other thing too is that I also had a wrist injury. It was a skating accident, not related to work at all. But fortunate enough that it was only like the biggest bone in the wrist, and it was a really easy fracture to heal. So very fortunate in that regard. But I also have a busted tailbone that actually requires a special cushion for me to
Ah,
sit
okay.
on anytime that I sit down, because if I do not have that and I sit for more than an hour, my feet start to go numb. So, very important that I have that cushion, and if I don't have it, that I get up and walk around periodically. So, taking breaks in that regard is also very important as well. Um, but, you know, very important to take breaks and to rest, because working continuously sitting down or even like at a standing desk standing up but staring at computer screens all day is like no bueno in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then I did want to include my patron saint Senshi for taking care of myself because you need a balanced diet, you need regular exercise,
Yep.
and you need a routine.
Yep.
It's so important. I also want to take a moment to share this manga from Mizuki Shigeru, who did. Oh, oh no, I've forgotten the name of it.
I have also
Um,
forgotten the name of it.
the is a little. Oh, I mean, you guys probably know. Um, Protagonist is a little boy, and his father has turned into an eyeball monster that sits on his head. Um, Either way, Mizuki was in the time of Tezuka, and he wrote a some autobio about meeting Tezuka and outlasting Tezuka by quite a while. Because I believe Tezuka died at 55 uh, because he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat. And it was seen as, and it still is actually seen as a um, I'm better than you because I have not slept and I am suffering for my practice. And I just want to tell you guys that that is a load of shit.
Yes,
It's
it
not
really is.
true. You are not better than anybody if you sleep less.
Hmm.
Tezuka included, even like regardless of the fact that he was a genius, he could have survived a lot longer if he actually took care of himself.
Yeah. Self-care is important, man.
But yeah, I really wanted to include this small autobio comic. Um, I saw it years ago and I was like, this, I need to talk about this.
Hmm.
Okay, so what is burnout and how has it affected you? Um, so I'm personally really bad for taking on too much, and I'm sure that this is a relatable issue. It's really hard to say no. But I found that I only have so much creative energy, and if I use too much in a given time, then it takes longer for me to recharge those batteries. So think about it as like I have a creative battery in my head, and if I use too much and uh, stay on like 1% for too long, then that to me causes burnout. But if I rest on or if I rest in the evenings and on weekends, I can work on keeping that creative battery charged. So back in 2019, I ended up having the worst burnout of my life. Just a lot of stuff conglomerated and happened. There was like a death in the family. I was working really hard on a bunch of projects, and then I was let go from my current job at the time uh, because I wasn't giving them what they wanted after my grandma passed away. And I was just like, I don't know if art is for me anymore. And I was just so devastated and burnt out. And I just couldn't lift a pencil for the life of me. But I found that changing the medium that I was using did help. It wasn't a like instantaneous fix for it, but it did eventually get me back into the groove. I was primarily a traditional artist for a very long time. All of Dead City and Gender Slices were traditional. Um, but I ended up getting my first like drawing tablet. So I started moving into digital, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. Art can be fun."
You pulled a Gary
Um,
Larson.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, Gary.
Yep.
Um,
Gary Larson
so
had
I,
the exact same thing.
yeah. Um, I'd also taken like a real proper 2 week break where I didn't draw for whole like 2 weeks. I put a pause on all of my projects. I'm like, hey guys, I'm sick. Like I told them I was sick. I was emotionally sick. But I'm like, I just need a break. And I took 2 weeks off. And drawing suddenly felt kind of new and exciting again once I got back into it. Um, Especially after some time off and my new method of drawing. I got really excited about trying out Clip Studio for the first time. And oh, it was so much better than Photoshop. I didn't know digital art could be fun. Oh. Um, so that's kind of like my burnout story. And it does it did like I kind of not fixed it completely, but making sure that I did take time off for myself, and trying something new that my brain could focus on, helped me a lot with burnout.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I find that burnout hits me the hardest when I put my energy towards just one type of work at the expense of everything else. And sometimes that's out of necessity because I have a day job that's in the office that requires a lot of analytical thinking and a lot of social skills. But that also means that I burn out on both of those really quickly if I'm doing those for too long. So now I make it a point to plan for rest periods of days or weeks before I resume doing that particular type of work. I was very fortunate that early in my comics career, I was working with a creative partner who planned break periods between major story arcs. And so we would like build up our backlog up to a dedicated date. And then we would go, okay, on this date, we are putting a pause on the main story. And then we're going to have like a little side story happen for like 5 weeks. And then we'll resume the main story again. But having that structure helped with planning stuff in advance and having those rest periods baked into the story. We did this by openly communicating and checking in with each other and letting each other know, hey, I think so far we're on track. Hey, so far I might need a little bit more time to do this. Hey, something came up, so I won't be able to finish this until X date, etc. But having that open communication, being able to plan ahead helped so much. So now, whenever I'm working on my own comics projects, I deliberately plan like at least 2 weeks between chapters. And I do this with The Legend of Jamie Roberts, where it's like, okay, this chapter is ended. Now it's time for the 2 week hiatus until the next chapter starts. And it's a minimum 2 weeks. Sometimes I've had it last like an entire month before I resume updates again. But that break is baked in there. And my readers know that and they expect it and they can be prepared for it.
That's such a good idea. I've seen other people do that, and I'm like, when I get back into like a long form comic, I want to also uh match that in terms of like ending a chapter and then taking a break instead of what I was doing when I was posting Dead City. It was every May it would be so busy in terms of like conventions and like other stuff that was happening in my life. Just
Hmm.
May was so busy, as it
Hmm.
is this May, um, that like when I was uploading Dead City, I would just take May off, and then I would do a call out for guest comics. So I think something like I've seen other folks also do something similar, but I think between chapters makes a lot more sense than like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take all of May off just randomly in the middle of a chapter.
But there is something to be said about like no, no, no. On this particular point in the calendar, yeah,
Hmm.
we got to take some time off. And then maybe finding some way to like work the narrative backwards in advance, so that maybe you're
Yeah.
left off on like a cliffhanger, or there's like a chapter resolution, but there's still just a little bit more that it's like, oh, you know, at the end of the break, we'll be resuming again.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then Kelsey, did you want to talk a bit about the different types of burnout?
Yeah, because like too often I would go into creative spaces and folks would talk about burnout and I'm like, okay, what kind of burnout are we talking about? Because there's in my perception of it, there's different types of burnout because you've got burning out in terms of like socializing with people. This is especially true for people who are neurodivergent like myself. Yes. Where it's like, you know, after a point you're just like, you know, I'm done putting up the like friendly veneer. Can I just go into a room and stare at a wall for like 20 minutes to like desensitize? Like there's
Sometimes
yeah.
I find that I get this like overwhelming like tingliness when like
Mm-hmm.
I've done too much in like a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like I need to like be quiet in a bathroom for a minute. I just
Yes.
need to like I'm overstimulated. That's it. That's the word.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Like, and even at my like day job, I would be like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. And then I would just go into the bathroom and then I would just sit down and I would just close my eyes for like 5 minutes and be like, oh, finally, a break.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's also, in terms of other types of burnout, I mentioned analytical burnout. That's where you're like looking at a problem, whether it's like a math related problem or like a configuration of some sort, or you're trying to solve something that is super puzzling, but you've been staring at it for so long. Or the other thing, which is like there's been so many of those problems that you've been tackling like back to back to back to back to back that you're just like, I'm done looking at all of these. Can I take a break from taking a look at all of these problems? Um, and then there's performance burnout. I really felt this, hilariously enough, in 2019, when I was like, I have been going to so many conventions and I really just want to take a break from doing so many conventions. And then 2020 happened.
Oh no, it
And
just happened for you.
then it just happened for me. And I was like, well, there's my performance break baked in there. Um, so yeah, there is a very real burnout of like, because like going to conventions is a kind of performance where you're like
Hmm.
performing a persona that you're like showing off to people and
Yeah,
being like,
exactly.
look at my comics. Um, and even like performing in like these panels, because like, yes, there is a persona that you are giving off. Like this is kind of how I talk normally, but do I gesticulate like this all the time? No. And then there's obviously the artistic burnout where it's like I have been drawing so consistently and now my wrist hurts. Now I need to get
Mhm.
up and move. Now I need to like stop looking at this canvas for like an hour because I've been staring at
'Cause
it for like 6 hours.
I also find with sitting and in if for the artistic burnout of
Mm,
if I'm sitting and working on a comic for too long and I'm like not sure about it, something's wrong, something's not working, and I just put it down and I come
yeah.
back to it in like a day or two and I'm like, oh, I realized what the problem is and I can fix it.
Hmm.
Instead of like barreling through, I just find that if I barrel, it's not good in the end. It's not worth it.
Well,
Um,
barreling through also means that there's just more mistakes that are compounded that you have to fix later.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Um, so we will talk a bit about how we make our schedules. So Kelsey, if you want to start.
I'm probably the worst one to start with because mine is chaotic. But
We got two
mine
ends of the spectrum here.
two ends of the spectrum here. But partially it's chaotic because I do have a day job, but I also freelance and do comics. And so what it starts with is I get my schedule from my day job, and then I get the due dates for when things need to be done. And then I have to plan everything else around the work schedule for with a day job and the due dates that I give myself or that I receive from the freelance jobs that I have.
Hmm.
Um, Now I have a clip here of what my May calendar looks like with some incriminating evidence blacked out because I don't want y'all knowing specifics about where I live. But this was before the addition of more stuff because more stuff got added.
Hmm.
Things like, oh, I can tell you right now that there's now two meetings, not quite back to back, that are happening tomorrow. And then there's something else that's happening on Tuesday. There's going to be more things that are happening each Tuesday. They just haven't been written in. Um, and then this week I'm actually going to be moving apartments. So what's not written down is like chunks of time that I've blocked off to just pack boxes. Um,
Right.
and moving is like a one-time ish thing, or at least like a once a year ish thing. You hope that there's more time between moves. Um, so like, but still being able to plan for like big projects like a move or oh no, I got this contract for this new comic project and I got to get it done by X date. Um, like I try to plan for those things. Like there's an anthology project that my friends and I are going to be putting together that we're mapping out the due dates for that now. Um, so I try to leave things as flexible as I can in case of appointments and meetings and things like that. So I don't necessarily break it down into like, okay, from like 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I can work on this thing. Like that's not how my schedule works and that's not how my brain works. Like today I was like, cool, I can work on comics until I get the notification that a package arrived at my new apartment. And then as soon as I get that notification, I'm riding my bike over so I can move the box into the apartment because otherwise it's just going to block the stairwell.
Oh no.
Yeah, don't need that. I don't want that impression with my new neighbors. And then ride the bike back, have lunch, and then resume comic stuff until this panel starts. And then after this panel, my rest of my day, I'm taking off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, my agenda is not super duper great for super neurodivergent people, but so far I've gotten it to work, and I'm hoping that after the end of this month, that things will calm down and the schedule will be a little bit easier to work with, and it will not be as like, oh no, this thing suddenly came up. Can we address this thing?
Hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's just
But yeah,
messy
it's
because of the move.
I was just thinking it's really fun to see like the differences between our schedules.
Hmm.
Um, so mine is a lot more rigid than Kelsey's is.
It's so much simpler.
I'm a creature of routine. I mean, like I have my planner, my physical journal that I also put other things in. So like events and doctor's appointments and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, but that's I think not important to like what I'm for like my freelance schedule that I want to show you guys. So uh I work from home with my spouse who also has an office job but works from home. And we both of us strive off of routine. If our routine is ever so slightly changed, it's the worst thing ever. Both of us just have that kind of mindset. Um, so we do our routine together. We both wake up at the same time. We have tea, we have breakfast together. Like I said before, I can't function if I don't have breakfast, even if it's like a piece of toast with like avocado on it, because
Hmm.
I'm a millennial, um,
Yeah.
or like a bowl of cereal. I just have to have something in the morning.
Hmm.
But yeah, we have tea and breakfast together. We start at 9 a.m. And then at around 10 a.m. we do stretches and like a little bit of yoga for a few minutes. 12 p.m. is our lunch hour. We have our lunch. We go on a 2K walk. After our lunch, we get back at 1, back to work. 2 p.m. is another break time. We have another tea, and probably a little snack.
Hmm.
And then we do more stretches at 3 p.m. and then end work at 5. Sometimes I end work a half hour early, depending on what needs to be done around the house. And if I'm not on a really tight schedule, then I can like kind of flex my hours a little bit. But my weekly schedule looks like this. It shifts around a little bit depending on if there's any extra freelance or deadlines.
Hmm.
I'm kind of in deadline hell right now, so I think giving this talk is really apt. I am making sure that even if I'm in deadline hell right now, I
Hmm.
am still following this schedule.
Yeah.
Um, I was telling Kelsey before the this panel started that if I have to dip into overtime, it is during the week and it's just for an hour a day, and I don't make a habit of it. If I do, all hell breaks loose. I will never not work. I will never stop working, and that's bad.
Hmm.
So I need to make sure that I stick with this schedule.
Hmm.
uh 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with breaks in between, lots of breaks in between actually.
Hmm.
Making sure that we get our stretches in, we do sun salutations, which is really nice. I'm actually getting better at planking, which is nice.
Ooh.
But yeah, so my like weekly schedule is very it's strict, but usually the like morning stuff I move around a bit. The Ojoy stuff needs to be like pretty centered there because I need to actually get it done. But like I spend my Monday mornings doing a lot of admin of like checking my email and scheduling all my posts for the week. That's pretty strict.
Hmm.
And then the like web comic art, I'm not technically working on a proper web comic right now, so it kind of like shifts around. I have a bunch of freelance stuff that I'm working on, or sometimes I take commissions. But my computer is off. Or not off, but like I don't touch my work stuff after 5 p.m.
Yeah. Um, Also, this might be our window where we talk about the importance of meals because like
Oh, yes, yes.
yes, because like you mentioned taking your meal breaks and I know that my schedule is chaotic, but I do not skip my 3 meals a day. That is
No,
so
me either.
important to me because like I gotta have my fuel. And my metabolism is better by having that even if it's not like regularly scheduled, like I don't always take my lunch break at 12. Sometimes just that's just not feasible depending on like if I'm at the office that day or if I've got something else going on. But I
Hmm.
always have a lunch break. I always have a dinner break.
Hmm.
I always have breakfast. I cannot function without breakfast. You and I are on the same page there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that you describe your schedule as strict. For me, I'm like, this is still pretty like I this is still pretty adaptable to me because it's like because to me that it's like okay cool there's like a theme to the day but it's like the time the things take the time that they take.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I try
Norm.
to keep that in mind when putting my own schedule together because it's like
Hmm.
hey sometimes the admin stuff takes like an hour on one day, sometimes it takes 6 hours across multiple days. um
Yeah.
there's and for me I try to leave a little bit of that wibbly wobbliness in there. For
Hmm.
me it's more like less like blocked time on the calendar and more lists. Uh, I,
Yes, I
I
also strive off of lists.
yes, I thrive off of lists. Like I actually adapted this idea from my therapist of just keeping a running list of things.
Hmm.
It's just a pad of like and this is for my not work related tasks or even for my work related tasks that are for like freelancing because like I use Obsidian to track all of my comics related stuff.
Yeah.
But just having a list helps, even if my schedule looks different from day to day.
Yeah,
The other thing too,
exactly.
I really lucked out with my day job in that I told them I cannot work on Sundays. And they've been really honoring that. And I'm very pleased about that. I know that not everybody is lucky enough to have that with their day job, but I made very clear with them. I was like, hey, cannot work on Sundays. And they also know that I use public transit and my bus route that I take stops running after 9 o'clock at night. So they've been honoring the like, hey, if I can,
That's a good segue
yeah.
into what you had written for
Mm-hmm.
our boundaries, which is the question of when.
Mm-hmm.
So Kelsey, the hours that you like working.
Yeah, so I am an early bird. Always have been. Only early bird in my family and in my immediate circle of friends. So like getting up at 5 a.m. is like I can do it, but I usually just get up at like 6 or 7. Um, and all of my productive energy is in the mornings. That's when I can like really knock things out back to back to back to back to back. And then I can do stuff in the afternoons, but only after like a good bike ride has gotten the rest of my energy out or something like that. I don't necessarily do warm up sketches or cool down sketches, but I do stretch in the morning. Um, I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit in April because of the day job, but I've been slowly getting back into it, especially now that the weather is much nicer and I can ride my bike around
Mhm.
town more often. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do my stretches because I don't want to pull something. Um,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, so like I do my stretches in the mornings. I get up early, knock out all the things that I gotta get done real early, and more often than not, I do end up drawing in the evenings, especially if I'm doing morning shifts like at the day job. And more often than not, I find that I'm able to focus on drawing in the evenings after all of that energy has been burnt.
Mhm.
Because, like for me, drawing is a lot more meditative. I can just turn on some music or a podcast and I can just get into the flow of it and just chill. And that's like it's almost like it's not quite a break because comics is still work, but it is a break from doing the day job related stuff or especially this week, any of the moving related stuff that I got to take care of, packing boxes and talking, making phone calls and all of that stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm very similar in a way. I am also a morning person. My partner is less so, but they make it work, especially because like their job, they do have to like be at work at 9 a.m.
Hmm.
So we tend to wake up between 7 and 8, have our breakfast, start work at 9. We don't have a big commute, so it doesn't matter. We have to go from our bedroom to the office.
A
But
whole five
again, I'm
steps.
it's yeah. I'm a creature of habit, and I'm only useful during 9 to 5. After dinner, I can't focus. I can't do anything. If somebody's like, "Do you want to go see a thing at 7?" I'm like, "That's pretty late, guys. I
Hmm.
don't know."
I
Um,
don't know if
but
I have
this
the
is
energy.
I'm an old man. Uh, but in the evenings, this is when I do my like fun sketchbook art as a cool down before spending the rest of the night playing video games or reading. Um, and I think even if my partner didn't work the like 9 to 5 office job, I think I would still prefer working 9 to 5. Um, and then oh, that's too early. Kelsey, you talked a bit about setting boundaries with your office work.
Hmm.
Did you want to expand on that a little bit
I yeah,
as we
I
talk about
can.
boundaries?
I can, yes. I live and die by my boundaries. I gotta
Yes.
set them and I gotta be clear about them and I gotta reiterate them as often as possible. Um, So, especially with my day job, I make clear, hey, I rely on public transit, and that means that I have a hard out every night. Like, if you want me to work evenings, fine. I cannot work past 8 o'clock because the buses stop running at 9. That's just how it is in my city. Um, no working on Sundays. Just cannot do it because that's my day that I like go and I socialize with friends. That's my socializing with friends day, and I gotta have that. Um,
Mhm.
and that's also the day where I can like catch up on laundry, make
Mhm.
a big old batch of potato soup
Oh,
if I need to make any food.
yeah.
I joked about this with my therapist, but I my self-care consists of like three S's: soup, sleep, shower.
I love the soup is the
It
highest
is the
tier there.
highest one for me. I love my soup. I have a particularly good potato chowder recipe that I like. If
Oh
I ever
yeah.
need a comfort food, that's what I make. But yeah, soup is top of the list for me. But I gotta have those three S's or else I cannot function. Um,
Hmm.
and as far as like drawing other limits with like it's not just the day job that I draw my limits with. I also make very clear with the folks that I do freelance stuff with. I'm like, hey, I don't always check my emails. If you want to get in touch with me, better way to get in touch with me is to text me or call me. I don't
Hmm.
check my email every day. Um, so I don't give my phone number out to just everybody, but the folks that I do give the phone number to, they honor that. And they also like, they have their own limits where it's like, hey, no phone calls after like 5 o'clock. And I'm like, cool, I can honor that because
Hmm.
I don't tend to like to take work related calls after 5 o'clock either. Uh, and I also try to, especially because the day job that I have, like the busy season with the day job is like from February until April 15th, because
Hmm.
I'm a tax pro is my day job. So that's my busy window. So I make clear with my freelance clients, hey, between like April 1st and April 15th, if you think that I have plans, no, I don't. I'm working.
Yeah.
So no plans. Don't even try to look my direction until like after April 15th.
Yeah.
Um, so like got to be clear with the freelance clients, hey, there's going to be certain windows of time, even like long stretches of time where it's like it's going to be a lot harder to get in touch with me on some
Hmm.
things. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I will get back to you when I can, but it's not going to be right away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For me, it's tough because I work from home.
Hmm.
So I can just work forever, right?
Hmm.
No, that's wrong. That's dead wrong. Uh, I mostly contact my clients through email, and I ensure that in my email signature are
Hmm.
my hours. So Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. EST, and make sure to put in my time zone because I work with a lot of folks in the west side of America. So a lot of people from like California and Portland who
Hmm.
are 3 hours behind me. And I'm like, nope, it's 8 p.m. I don't care. Uh, but
Yep.
what if they do email me? How can't you check it after 5 p.m.?
You
You
can't
may
be
be
that
asking
urgent.
yourself. You're, it's actually a pretty simple solution for me that I'm really happy with what I've done here.
Mm,
In that my work email is different than my personal email.
good.
I use the Outlook client for my work email, and I can only access it on my desktop computer. I can technically access it on my mobile if I really need to, but it's a lot of work. I have to like log into my Bluehost. I have to like go to the C panel. I have to go to the email. I have to log in through the email there. I've only had to do that once when I was asked to Oh, I forget what it was. I had to go into like a government office and they're like, we need to ensure that you have money.
Hmm.
Do you have a contract on you? I'm like, not on me. And they're like, isn't it in your email? I'm like, oh, hold on, let me just
Go
give
through
me
those
10
seven
minutes.
layers.
Yeah. So I make it really hard for myself to access my work email if I'm not at my desktop. I could, like, my desktop isn't that, like, my couch is right over there. Um, it's not that hard to just come over and open Outlook again, but I don't.
Hmm.
Like, it's off. After 5 p.m., it's done. And I also make sure to like talk to my clients about that of
Hmm.
like, hey, just a heads up, I will not answer my email after 5 p.m. Because there's no art emergencies. Those
No.
don't exist. I'm just
No.
drawing comics.
Hmm.
Um, and like I get emails from folks that live in my neighborhood that I work for, and they're emailing me on a Sunday at 8 p.m. I'm like, Matthew, what are you doing? You can't do that. You gotta rest.
Yeah.
But I make sure to like talk to my clients before we start working together to ensure that they know that what my boundaries are. I stick to them really strictly.
Hmm.
Um, and if they do require any overtime, of course, like I said, I can do a little, but I do ensure with them that that won't be the default
Hmm.
for the bulk of the project, because extra money is not worth my health,
Nope.
because that's a whole health issue in itself is money.
Honestly, for me, money, period, not worth risking my health for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because then you have to spend more money to fix it if it goes wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the same sort of issue.
Yeah,
As like trying to force yourself to solve an art problem. And it's like, no, just take a break from it. And also, the money is not worth it. It's why I feel very
exactly.
fortunate that the day job that I have, the ladies who I work with have been like really diligent as far as like, hey, Kel, you are allowed to say no to certain
Mhm.
clients. Like, and also like it is okay to say, hey, this is out of my depth. Please work with somebody else.
Yep,
Yeah, because like
exactly.
the people that you work with would rather that you respect your boundaries and also respect that you do the good work. And the only way that you do the good work is by honoring your limits and being
And
like, yeah,
if they don't, then you don't want to work with them.
yes. You don't want to work with people who don't respect your limits. You got to
Exactly.
respect the limits.
So Kelsey, what do you do when you're not working?
Oh man, I got so many hobbies. I was actually talking about before we were going live. I took some time off Friday night because I was like, oh man, when was the last time that I took a break? Between like moving and the day job and everything else, I was like, I really need some time off. So like Friday night, I just marathon Mystery Science Theater 3000 and did nothing else. For me, that is how I recharge my batteries a lot of the time. I also like to crochet and knit. Honestly, MST3K marathons are really good for just turning it on and knitting a sweater. I've
Mhm.
knit so many sweaters. I
My
have
partner
it.
also does that.
Yeah. I have like four sweaters in my closet now that I've finished because I just turn on like Space Mutiny and I'm just like,
Mhm.
cool. I know this movie by heart, but you know what? I love that I get to listen to this while I knit. Um, Critical Role is also a good thing to turn on in the background while I knit sweaters or crochet any other given project. Um, it's a compulsion. I have to keep my hands busy.
Mhm.
But the other thing I like to do is um, Dungeons and Dragons. I do
Yeah.
play other tabletop games, to be clear. Um, and a shout out to an old podcast that I used to be a part of for introducing me to a whole bunch of other really cool TTRPGs, and encouraging
Yeah.
me to make my own. Um,
Oh, Kelsey, we should talk. about that at some point together too, because I'm also
Yes.
working on some tabletop RPGs.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. Oh my gosh, I would love to tell you about my game Toe Beans and Broomsticks. Um, but I love playing D&D, particularly fifth edition. I can play the other editions, but I cut my teeth on fifth. Um,
Mhm.
so fifth is what I default to. Um, and I know a lot of people joke about being like the forever DM, but enjoy
That's me.
I also enjoy being a
Yeah.
DM because it's like, oh, it's fun to be a player where you can play like one character, but what if you could be like 17
All
different
of them.
characters?
Yeah.
All of them. You could be all the characters even. And the environment that they interact with
Mhm.
the the bad guys
And the
and
items.
and the items. And sometimes those magic items can talk.
Hmm.
So love doing that. I also love doing like movie marathons as a way to like study how performers do their thing and the types of like ways that they embody characters so that I can be like, ooh, how can I pull that into my Dungeons and Dragons game? And
A quick
yeah,
aside, you
yeah,
should actually, this is unrelated, but you should watch The Court Jester from 1955.
I have not heard of this. I will
I
need to
think you'd
check this
really
out.
like it.
Ooh,
It's very
okay.
silly.
Oh, good. I love silly.
I was like, it's as you were talking, I'm like, I think this would be super your jam. I just watched it recently. I'm like, oh, I'm in love.
Ooh,
It's got
okay.
Basil Rathbone in it.
Oh my God, the same guy who played the wizard in the magic sword.
Oh, I was like, he's Sherlock Holmes to me.
He is Sherlock Holmes, yes, but he was also
Yeah.
like permanently embarrassed by a Burt I. Gordon production called The Magic Sword.
Oh, okay.
It
I have
is
to look
a,
that up.
it is so awful, but it's so fun. Just shut off your brain and watch it.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
You're totally good. That wraps up my spiel on the things that I like to do that are not
Yeah.
work. And I love
Um,
comics, but comics is also work.
it's true.
Yep.
So I do also like working on my own personal art. Um, but my evenings are mostly designated for like I said, sketchbook art. So like loosey goosey stuff that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm posting it to Patreon eventually, but like these are like my sketchbook is my fun zone of like nothing matters. I can do whatever I want. I can draw whatever I want. It doesn't have to be clean. It can be clean if I want, because sometimes, you get in the zone, you put on some like my partner and I've been watching a lot of Solo Travel Japan on YouTube,
Ooh.
delightful channel. Just putting it on. He takes some ferries, he eats some food, and I'm like, oh, I'm really into like inking this beautiful portrait that I was working on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's I'm gonna design some fake Pokemon. I don't know. It can be the world is my oyster. I love my sketchbook so much, especially
Mm-hmm.
because like that's my going back to traditional art. I can't leave traditional art behind. It's my time away from screens.
Mm-hmm.
It's my time away from social media. I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying really hard to do that. But yeah, it usually consists of like fun character interactions, thumbnails for future ideas, character designs, because I can't turn my brain off completely for like comic ideas. And
Yeah.
sometimes I get out of the shower and I'm like, oh my God, I have the best idea. I have to thumbnail it like right now. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to get out onto paper.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, a lot of very messy doodles. A lot of them don't make sense, and that's okay. Being messy is fun.
So
Uh,
when you doodle in your sketchbook, do you also do the thing? Because like, since you also have movies playing in the background, do you sometimes doodle what you see on the screen sometimes?
yeah.
Or okay,
Or
because I
sometimes it
also.
gives me like an idea, or like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that would be a great outfit. Very
Mm-hmm.
similar to like I said, my partner and I watched The Court Jester, and I'm like, I need to draw Danny Kaye right now.
Ooh.
And I have a whole page of just Danny Kaye in this like jester outfit, and it's like fun and silly, and he's a silly jester and not like serious. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want more silly little guys.
Yeah, more silly little guys.
Yeah. I also really enjoy photography as a hobby, which lets me still be creative and artistic, but it's like less
Hmm.
taxing on my body, arm, and wrist.
Hmm.
It also gets me out of the house. Important.
Yes.
I wrote in my notes important in like big like bold letters. I'm like that's it's so important. Out of the house, out of the house.
Out of the house.
Um, photography, I keep like yes, out of the house. Photography has also been fun because now I want to do a comic about it.
Hmm.
So getting out there and trying something new, getting a new hobby, getting into something like that, like Kelsey, you said crochet,
Hmm.
um, or bike riding even. Getting those like creative juices flowing and giving you some like life experience that you can put your hobby into your comics is also important because like the more you try outside of just drawing, um, the
Hmm.
more life experience you can put into your characters.
Yes.
So I really recommend watching the Manben episode by Naoki Urasawa about Wataru Watanabe, the creator of Yowamushi Pedal, who did something very similar. I watched that recently, and he was down on his luck. None of his series were getting picked up by any like magazines in Japan, and he got really into biking. And he's like, well, what if I just do that? What if I just do a comic about biking? And then everybody knows Yowamushi Pedal.
Hmm.
So I highly recommend like trying a bunch of stuff out. Like if you're not good at it, who cares? I'm still not good at photography, and it's been like 3 years for me.
Hmm.
Um, I'm like just getting yourself out there in like me making sure that I don't post my photography. I'm like, this is just for me.
Yeah.
I just want to get better, and maybe one day I'll post it, but I don't sell it. It's not a
Hmm.
side hustle.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing. I like collecting cameras. I like trying film.
Hmm.
Um, people keep giving me cameras. And I'm like, okay, I'll try this one out. Um,
Yep.
and I also really like the organization aspect of it, of going through and tagging every photo and fixing the metadata
Hmm.
like a nerd. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
other than that, I also use my time off to recharge creatively, which means more consuming.
Hmm.
Um, I'll play a lot of video games, watch old movies. Like I said, please everybody watch The Court Jester. That's just been on my mind. And I also read a lot of books. I mean, reading comics both in and out of your comfort level, I find is really important.
Hmm.
Sometimes I will like, okay, I'm just gonna like dive into Akira, even though it's so not my jam, but it's so beautiful, I have to.
Hmm.
Um, and like I hate gore. I block like gore and vor and stuff on all social media, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna expand my horizons. Um, but taking time to take in media is really important to the rest cycle.
Hmm.
I find that I can't really be creative in a void. I need to experience others' art as well, which also includes signing up for a bunch of people's newsletters, seeing what they're into, what are they working on, and potentially being less on social media.
Hmm.
But this also includes going to physical places like museums and art galleries. I find that those are really relaxing,
Hmm.
and I feel both rested and like artistically rejuvenated after.
Yes. Yep.
Um, However, this is a slippery slope because too much consuming is nice. It's easy. It's fun. It can also lead to a lot of scrolling,
Mm.
which you want to avoid too much of. This is
Yes.
why books are kind of my favorite form of consuming media, especially if they're physical. It's blurred, but you can see my giant. Uh,
Hmm.
this is just manga.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
but yeah, the physical part really gets me. They also give my eye a rest after a long day of screens because I do all my stuff digitally. And it's not social media.
Hmm.
Rest does not equal social media to me. Social media is bad. But if you do want
Yeah.
to scroll a little bit, might I interest you in? RSS. And maybe the talk I did last year on RSS. That's my little plug. Um, it's in the Cartoonists United YouTube channel from last year. But that's also helped me rest a lot easier. Heh heh heh. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, my recommendations list ended up being really small. Um, so I want to recommend, oh, I didn't even include it in the, I see what
Realizing that you
happened.
forgot something in the notes.
I forgot things in the slideshow.
Oops.
Oops. Uh, so I really enjoyed a video titled How to Do Hard Things. Um,
Ooh.
I don't know if I can edit. Oops. I don't think I can edit the screenshot or the slideshow on the go. But I believe it's just how to do hard things, which includes talking about rest and turning off devices after 9 p.m. And I did include it, the video Failing to Fail, which is about a small video game company. And I will quote the person doing the interview. He said, "Don't be proud of not getting enough sleep. You need sleep to live."
Yes. Yes, you do.
And also, I want to recommend my most favoritist ever, manga ever, Delicious in Dungeon. Like I said, Senshi is uh, my rest angel.
Yes.
I will always eat. I will always rest. I will do more exercise, even though that part is hard.
Hmm.
Um, but Kelsey, what are your recommendations?
I mean, honestly, seconding that failing to fail the spiderweb software way. Also, I feel like this is somewhat obvious. In terms of like preaching the importance of rest. Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's a great one.
yeah, because that movie is all about like, even a witch needs to take a break or else she will burn out. And
Hmm.
burnout's not pretty. Um, so that's just the recommendation that I have off the top of my head. But my other recommendation is pick up a hobby and don't try to monetize it. Um,
Yes.
yes. I forgot to mention this, but cooking is another hobby that I like to do. And
Oh, me
anytime that
too.
I have tried to like do any kind of restaurant related work, it's been awful because I'm like, cooking's what I do for fun. I don't want to make money doing this.
Hmm. I regrettably used to work in kitchens for
Hmm.
much of my teenage and early 20s because you need a job while you're starting out
Right.
freelancing.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of kitchen stuff. And as I just when I came home, I didn't want to cook, but I love cooking.
Hmm. I
I
love
do.
cooking.
Yeah.
I did also see somebody ask for the potato soup recipe. I will post it on my website.
Yeah. Put it in your newsletter.
I will put it in my newsletter.
Yes, so then I can get it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think that is our recommendations for resting and how to rest. Um, and here's where you can find us as a like less social media based stuff. I have my social medias on my website, but please follow my RSS on my blog or my newsletter or Kelsey's newsletter.
Yeah. Yep. You can
Um,
sign up for my newsletter on my website there.
yeah, me too.
Yay.
Um, but yeah, I know that that took a whole hour.
It did. It did. We got 2 minutes for questions. Um,
Unless we're allowed to go over an hour. I don't think
You're
there's anything below us.
absolutely allowed to go a bit over,
okay, cool.
Cool. Uh,
Yeah.
because I as the
Mhm.
one of as the head of NIF promo, I was like, there's nothing after us. We're good.
Okay, awesome. Um, cool. In that case, I'm going to take a look at if there are any questions in the
Yeah, pop
chat
your questions
that
in the
popped up.
chat.
Um, I'll I'll address the one that popped up like right away. Any tips on getting back into the swing of things after a rest break? I think my biggest excuse for not taking breaks is I'll get rusty. Also, can you link which how to do hard things video you recommend? I'm getting a lot of
Yes.
results.
Okay. I will get that up. I don't know why this, like I said, this month has been a lot. I'm in deadline hell,
That's
and
fair.
even this I
Mhm.
told Kelsey, oh, hold on.
Okay.
I had it playing. Okay. Um, I ended up doing a lot of this slideshow in a fugue state of like, oh my God, it has to be done. Kelsey, I did it all.
You did it. Sometimes you gotta let the anxiety fuel you. Um, I get that. As far as like, ooh, I feel like I can speak on this about getting back into the swing of things after a rest break. But mostly from the day job side of things because for like 2, 3 weeks at my day job, I did not do any kind of drawing at all, which was rough. Not even in my off time because I didn't have any particularly productive off time. It was like, nope, I gotta get my soup, shower, sleep.
The soup is so important.
Soup is so important. Soup is so important. It's at the top of the list.
Mhm.
Um, so I didn't have a ton of time to draw for like 3 weeks. And so getting back into the swing of drawing was like I don't know why, but my brain is just like I'm just gonna get right back into it and just draw stuff and draw comics. It's not even like a oh, I got to do warm-up sketches type thing because I don't, like I said, I don't do warm-up sketches. I'm just like, I'm just gonna jump into it and just draw.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
yeah,
I added
it's less
this a
like
link
building
very
up and
badly.
more like a, I'm gonna just do it.
I figured out I could add change things on the slide on the fly.
Woohoo!
So it doesn't look as great. Um, but this is also for the YouTube folks. Um,
Yeah,
I
who
wanted
don't
to make
have
sure that you
access
had,
to the Zoom.
yeah, exactly. I put it in the Zoom chat, but the how to do hard things
Mm-hmm.
YouTube video is now officially linked in our recommendations. I apologize.
Um,
Um, we got a question from Palm.
mm-hmm.
Hi, I was watching on YouTube and wanted to ask, do you recommend going analog when planning your schedule, i.e. a physical planner, or is a Google Calendar okay? Do you have any program recommendations?
So I used to use Google Calendar, and then because of, Google being Google, I tried to look for other calendar alternatives. Didn't like what I was seeing, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna convert it back to paper, and only stick with one calendar. Because when I first started trying to be organized about things back in like well, I've always been organized, but like trying to keep a consistent calendar of things, I tried it back in 2017 and I tried keeping both a physical and a Google Calendar, and I was missing stuff. Missing stuff, double booking myself accidentally, and just it was not a fun time. So it's like if you're going to pick a calendar, you can do Google, you can do any other digital calendar, you can do physical, but stick with one would be my recommendation. That way, everything's in one place and you can keep track of it easier.
Yeah. Um, I also have a physical planner. Oh, it like blurs it. That's weird.
Oh.
Um, Zoom is so weird. I do have a physical planner. I do like the bullet journal method, which I really like.
Hmm.
But I also use Obsidian obsessively. So
Yes.
my physical planner, like I use a nice fountain pen. I get to pick all the inks. I could put washi tape in it. It's beautiful. But also
Hmm.
still kind of messy, and that's okay. That's my like day to day, what I did today, what I ate today, making sure that I have my 3 meals.
Hmm.
But my Obsidian calendar, which I also should have linked um, in the presentation, uh, basically has a calendar view of all of the social media posts that I'm working on.
Hmm.
So I post things on Tuesdays publicly, And then Wednesday, Thursday is Patreon stuff, and then Friday is also like fun public art. Um, so I have a like whole calendar view of my Obsidian that links to cards in which then I can add alt text, descriptions, where I'm posting it. I make sure that like I have a little checklist of I posted to Blue Sky, Patreon, Tumblr, all of them. It's so tiring. Um, but then I also link those posts in the card so that if I ever want to come back and post like reblog my Resident Evil art, then I'm like, oh, there it is. I can just click on that link. I know exactly where to find it.
Mhm.
But I kind of have both. My Obsidian is strictly for like art posting, and then my physical planner is for like events and day to day and like real life stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you and I have the same logic there because I also use the Obsidian for just the lists for projects that I'm working on because I use the
mhm.
Kanban plugin
Yeah,
for keeping track
I
of the
love the
projects that I'm
Kanban
working on
plugin.
and all of that. Um, and also keeping track of all of the like metadata for like, oh, this is the alt text that I'm using for this page, and
Hmm.
this is going up on this date. But I did see a question in the chat. How do you have you guys got any tips on remembering to use your planner? I'm not a planning guy and I struggle to remember that it even exists. I take mine everywhere with me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my method. I just take it everywhere I go, especially since if somebody asks, "Hey, are you available this Saturday?" I can very confidently be like, "Hold on, let me look." What? And I can pull up my calendar and look at it and be like, "Yes, I'm available," or "No, I got something else happening that day." Um, but like I take it everywhere, and when I'm at home, it has a dedicated spot at my desk
Hmm.
where it lives. If I can pull this up and not knock it too many things over, I have this thing that just houses my planner and my running list, and I keep it next to my desk, and that's where it lives when it's not in my backpack.
Yeah. Mine basically lives beside my keyboard. Kind of like what has just been mentioned. So I have it open with bookmarks to the month, like my monthly spread, where all my events are. So like say I put the NIF event today
Hmm.
in my little calendar, but having it to the right of my keyboard with the pen like in it, like
Hmm.
on it, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to like write that down really quick. Or like if I'm in a meeting or in therapy, I have my journal open. Because
Hmm.
I'm doing the bullet journal method, I just write everything in the day. Like it'll be a mix of like tasks, what I ate, what I did, things to remember.
Hmm.
But basically, I try my darndest to finish my journal page for that day in the evening before I go to bed. I just, it's not a lot. You don't have to write a lot.
Hmm.
It's just a little bit of like, oh, I went out to the mall today and I bought a hat. Um, on top of like, I had peanut butter toast for breakfast, and then this for lunch, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but very similar to what we were saying earlier, I'm working on a journal kind of tabletop RPG where you utilize your planner journal into a kind of Tamagotchi. So that if you don't do your journal that day, you lose points. And points are important.
Oh my God, I need to know more about this game.
I'm play testing it currently in my current journal that I can't show you because Zoom has decided to
Because
blur
Zoom is
it.
blurring it out.
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't know,
But yeah,
man.
so basically, like putting a like thing in place for like, you get points for
Hmm.
doing your journal, and then you lose lots of points if you don't do your journal. Um, and then that kind of like tricks my brain into doing it. It works differently for everybody, obviously. I know some people, it's 10 p.m. It's journal time. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing else matters. It's
Mm-hmm.
journal time. That's all it has to
Yeah.
be.
Mm-hmm.
Or like doing it throughout the day, just like having it next to you, I think helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love how we were like doing a dedicated panel on like reclaiming your right to rest, and a lot of the questions are like, but how do you keep a calendar?
I also reshared my screen technically. So let me see if this works. Uh, here, oh, where is it? Oh no.
Oh, look at those
Here's
patterns.
my Obsidian. This is kind of like how my social media planning organization goes. Um, again, I use Obsidian, and I use the full calendar, along with the Kanban plugin. I've talked about it before in the Cartoonist Co-op, but at some point I'd like to do a talk on Obsidian proper. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, like having social media stuff separate from like real life stuff is very helpful to me. Um, and like making sure that I have all of the information. And again, I think that this relates to rest because it saves me a lot of time later where I'm not just
True.
posting all willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Now if I need to if what if blue sky goes down? What if it dies? Because it will. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we go to a new poob, the new social media website, and I need to like repost a lot of these with alt text. I already have them. I already did
Yep.
it.
You already did all of that hard work. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, having
Um,
a system in place does help with like, okay, cool. I have this system in place, and then I'm going to take a break.
and then also like making sure that like I only post on specific days. Uh, I'm again, I'm a creature of routine. I can't post all willy-nilly
Mm-hmm.
because I post everything early access for patrons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, then that post goes 2 months later is public. So I have to really organize that. I was using Trello for a while and it didn't really work for me in terms of this.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody recommended Obsidian. I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed.
Yeah. It's funny. I used to swear by Trello, but then
Mhm.
because of like I need to keep track of alt text, and also I need a better calendar system than what Trello has.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and it just worked out better to switch to Obsidian because Obsidian just has more features to it that are just so much handier to work with.
Lots of nice plugins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I guess I didn't. So in terms of resting questions,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well,
if there's
having
any
having the system in place does help with like, cool, I can knock this out, and
I'll
everything's in
also
order, and now I can take a break guilt-free.
I'll also make sure that I put up the how to do hard things video because I'm not entirely sure it's saved to the uh,
To the slideshow.
slideshow.
Gotcha.
So as a precaution, here is also uh, the resting video that I highly recommend. It was very good. I wrote down a lot of things from it. I'm like, I should turn my stuff off at 9 p.m. You're right.
Sometimes I remember to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also talks a lot about like not making big decisions after 9 p.m.,
Oh, I
which I
stopped
think is
making
important.
big decisions at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have to make a big decision, wait until after breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You got to eat first. You got to
Yes.
get that brain food.
Mm-hmm. Got to get the brain food. You got to have a good night's sleep. At the very least, if you can't do that, wait until after soup.
After soup.
After
Yep.
soup, you got to have your soup.
But yeah, I think I'll stop sharing. I don't think that there's anything else in there. I think we got all of our everybody followed us on our newsletters, obviously. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, are there any more questions that we can answer before we wrap up?
I'm gonna give the chat a second. Haven't seen any new questions pop up yet.
I also like highly recommend not having a I mean, this is just me not having a like Google Calendar. As
Mm,
a like many many reasons why of Google's a terrible company.
hmm.
That aside, but like having a like physical thing to work on, I think helps a lot of like not
Hmm.
relying on your phone.
Hmm.
Of like I personally don't like my whole life being on a device.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I
like
don't
making
either.
sure, very similar to Kelsey, of like bringing my journal around with me, and like if I'm at a convention, then I'm after the convention's over and I go to the hotel, then I'm like journaling there. Because I want to remember what happens. That's the
Hmm.
other part of I need to remember what happens on a specific day. Because the more you journal, the more I find that my memory's gotten better.
Yes. Yeah. My memory has gotten a whole lot better since switching to a paper calendar because it's the act of writing it down reinforces the thing that you're trying to memorize. Particularly with like for me, it's like I need to write down when this meeting is happening, when the due dates are, when
Yeah.
my day job schedule is. That needs to be written down, or else it's not going to stick up here.
Yes, exactly. I guess that's just like how my brain works. I know some people need alarms for
Hmm.
things, but like I like the creativity of a journal. I
Hmm.
like using washi tape. I like buying cute journals. Where else am I gonna put my hundreds of budgie stickers?
And also, I'm very fortunate to have friends that keep gifting me cute journals. And I'm like, well, I
Mhm.
gotta put this to use somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there aren't any more questions. So I
All right.
thank you, Kelsey, for joining me
Thank
for
you for
this
having me.
really lovely talk. I'm so glad that we did this together.
I am so glad
Because
too. This was so
I
fun.
just I just want to spread the word of rest, and I hope everybody in the chat goes to sleep early tonight. Um,
Yes.
and takes this to heart. I don't want you guys to burn out. I don't want you guys to hurt yourselves. And the best way to
Absolutely
do
not.
that is to rest.
We're
Looking
all
at
gonna
you, Evan.
survive.
I'm calling you out.
I didn't want to, but I'm glad that you did.
I am like the one panel from Delicious in Dungeon of Senshi where he's like, I must feed the young ones. And then that is like my whole life of like
Hmm.
I must tell I as a teacher, I must tell the young ones to rest and not kill themselves over art because it's not
Yes.
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely not worth killing yourself over art. Art will still be there.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Thank you both so much for that wonderful presentation, and thank you everyone for coming to NIF. Um, I'm going to drop in the chat some links from the Cartoonist Co-op, including our Oops All comic scene, which the funds go towards helping put on events like this in the future.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Go check it out. Join the
Yeah.
co-op. The Cartoonists United now. A name
Mm-hmm.
change. Congratulations on your gender. Um, and yeah, join us.
Yes.
Join
All right.
us.
Everybody have a great rest of your day or a great night. Good time zones.
Good zones.
Yeah.